Alli Earp rides again. Alli reached over and grabbed the remote. She quickly turned off the TV. Is your suitcase packed? Are you ready to go? Alli, we're leaving at 3. Rodeo Camp, she thought to herself. That's really the best you could do? Her mom had spent time researching this camp, but Alli was starting to stew. The trip was a short one. Then Alli signed in. Kids screamed and started to chase. Excitement contagious, she grinned a big smile, then chased them all over the place. They settled right down with their bunks and big tent. Kids put away their Western gear. Alli was cautious, then opened her case, then smiled. There was nothing to fear. There in the suitcase stretched out on her bunk was all kinds of cowgirl galoo. She strapped on the chaps, tucked in her shirt, and let out a cowgirl yahoo! First there were roping and lassos to learn. Alli thought this would be fun. It circled around her and got really big when the knots started coming undone. It whipped through the air and it wound round her feet. Where it's headed, she couldn't tell. Before she could stop it, she tied herself up, and the campers all laughed when she fell. Next, she was learning to ride on a bronco with barrels instead of a horse. The counselors were tugging the ropes really hard, but Alli just sat there, of course. They called in the heaviest, strong muscle men. They counted to 3 and then tugged. The barrel was crushed, and when Alli fell down, she hit the ground with a loud thud. Calf wrestling next, she climbed up the fence and sat on the top of the rail. A camper walked by and she got too excited and knocked him right down with her tail. She slowly walked up near the calf and then stopped and looked at it straight in the eye. The calf gave a yell, turned and ran for the mud, where they both slipped and slid and then fell. Face really coated in mud in her eyes, Alli had had it by now. She reached for the calf who was struggling to run. Then she sat on the little brown cow. Counselors were cheering and coaxing her on. Campers thought she was the best. Everyone rooted for Alli at camp, and no one would give her a rest. Goat tying was the next thing on the list, and her friends all pushed Alli in first. The goat looked at Alli and stood really still. Alli thought this was the worst. No competition, she thought to herself, as she kneeled down and tied up the goat. But she didn't know it was eating her hat. Now she was the brunt of the joke. The favorite event of the day was announced, and the kids just went crazy with fun. They said it was time for the greasy pig chase, and it hit the ground, ready to run. Alli jumped in and she zigzagged around, thinking she could just corner the pig. She flew through the air and came down really hard, but the greased pig was fast and too big. More kids joined in. It became quite a mess. They were dodging the pig and each other. They piled on 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5, but the pig, running free, dodged another. Oops! Alli choked and then laughed right out loud. The word was supposed to be oops. Her nickname was born, and it stuck for all time. The kids cheered and yelled, Alli Earp! After all, she's a cowgirl, the best one so far, and good ones all go down in fame. Alli Earp looked pretty happy that day and knew that she'd earned her great name.